Welcome everyone, my name is Haya Ansari and today I'm going to be talking to you about street harassment. Currently, the kinds of solutions that society gives to the problem of street harassment are very ineffective. So, we might say, just stop girls from going out at night. That solves the problem, does it? Or, what were you wearing? Very typical questions we get asked around the world, I think. But that doesn't really address the problem. If you are a woman or a girl, chances are that you have already faced some kind of street harassment, and I'm not saying that, statistics are. So you might already be aware of how traumatic it is for women, how it makes women feel very unsafe, and it also gives rise to more severe kinds of attacks on women. Other than that, I also think it imposes an invisible tax on women. So you can't go out in public spaces and participate in sports, politics, education as freely as you would if the problem of street harassment didn't exist. Now, it's not like the country doesn't have laws against street harassment. They're quite severe actually. If a man is caught harassing a woman, and that includes just passing explicit comments, the law is he could be jailed for up to 3 years if proven in court. That's quite severe. So it's not like the laws are not in place. The problem is bringing the culprits to account. There is a gap, there's a bridge missing right there. So crime occurs, which is harassment. Laws are in place. How do we get the culprit from here to here? So, like I mentioned earlier, this is a widespread problem, like all social problems. It's very difficult to solve because it is so deeply entrenched, so closely woven in the fabric of society that there is no simple solution to it. If there was, it would have already been solved. Now we have to understand that most men are not harassers. The actual culprits are a very small percentage in a very large population. Even then, the majority of women are suffering. The majority of women are the victims of harassment. One of the reasons why these harassers keep harassing is because nobody calls them out on it. Nobody stands up and nobody says anything. And how can you? Because it's such a silent, invisible crime. It might be happening in front of you, and it's possible that you might not see it for what it is. So the question is, what can we do? So the obvious thing to do is bring these harassers to light, and that's what AAGAH aims at doing. It aims at unveiling the deep-rooted problem that is street harassment and unveiling the harassers themselves.
Imagine that if I say that we can mark all the public places where harassment occurs, or if I say that we are able to show all the marketplaces where girls face most harassment from, and how about if we are able to show these as marks on a map available publicly? And how about if I say that we can predict when and where harassment will take place tomorrow? Yes, so AAGAH's solution is about using real-time maps and artificial intelligence to find hotspots of harassment. And not just when and where, but even the type of harassment, whether it was verbal, physical, or non-verbal. Even this level of detail can be captured. And this information can be really valuable to policymakers, authorities, and even local supporters who can then monitor these areas and use some kind of patrol or surveillance to make our streets even safer. But it doesn't stop at this. How about if I tell you that we can statistically show the most effective methods of dealing with the harasser? How about if we can confidently suggest the role of bystanders? And what about studying the impact, the psychological impact of verbal harassment on victims And what about the long-lasting detrimental impact, emotional impact of physical harassment of victims? Have we ever collected national level data on this problem? Have we ever tried to understand the dynamics around this global problem of street harassment? Here at AAGAH, we want to get to the root of this problem by using AI machine learning models, natural language processing tools, research, and there's still more. There is also a support group dedicated to discussing street harassment and research-based suggestions on victim support, educating bystanders, educating men. All of this together gives AAGAH an interdisciplinary approach to tackle the problem of street harassment. Acknowledging the trauma of the incident and understanding the need to stay anonymous given the social construct of our society, AAGAH has designed a solution for you. You just need to gather some hope and courage to share your incident with us. Please go to aagahpakistan.org and share your incident by submitting us a form. And after you have submitted a form, our maps are updated in real time with locations of harassment. And the rest of the data needs to go under a lengthy data processing and analysis stage before we are able to publish the results. But remember, your contribution is the most important factor to fighting street harassment. Please be part of the solution and connect with us.
So using the detailed maps that we provide on our website, using the results and the insight gained from our research, we can help policymakers make data-driven policies instead of limiting women's freedom, which maybe creates more problems than it solves, really. I see such potential for the work that AAGAH is involved in, not just for the women of Pakistan, but women across the world. We're using existing technology. We have artificial intelligence. We have the expertise. We even have the data. What is stopping us from implementing this? Currently, the greatest challenge that we face at AAGAH is collecting reports from women in Pakistan. If you're a woman in Pakistan who has faced street harassment, please go on our website and share your experience. We want to listen to every incident, no matter how small or how severe you think it was. We want to map it online, and we want to study the entire construct of street harassment. I mentioned earlier how an actual solution to street harassment can only arise when the entire community comes together. So while at AAGAH we are working on polishing and fine-tuning our solution, we do need your help. What we're already doing is connecting with organizations on ground so that they could educate the local women and spread awareness about the AAGAH initiative. And our objective is to get as many women to report on our website as possible. We're also hoping to collaborate with local authorities who can then take action on the information that we're providing them. If you are a media personality or part of the publication or have a social media following, we would really appreciate if you could feature AAGAH to let women know that the importance of coming on our website and raising their voice, sharing their experience. That's going to drive change, and that's going to help us immensely. We have been very lucky in that a lot of organizations have decided to support us, even though our initiative is still an infant. We're barely 2 months old, but we've been featured on some amazing platforms like this one, or also been published in some magazines, have some articles out. But this is just the beginning. I believe there are like-minded people out there who would want to support us. I believe that regardless of everything that's happening around the world, especially in Pakistan, in regards to women, there are still people who are sincere to improving conditions for women and making something as basic as making streets safe for girls and women. I'm calling out to those people, the ones who whose values align with ours. Every one of you can help. You could also support us by heading over to our Patreon page and donating to the AAGAH cause. That helps us invest in our infrastructure, and also it helps us hire loyal, dedicated, and talented people. Most importantly, I would encourage each and every one of you to head over to the AAGAH website and just have a look at the platform. If you are a woman who has suffered street harassment in Pakistan, please share your story. Or if you're not, then maybe you know someone who can share their story. It is only through collaboration and supporting each other that we can hope to see some kind of change in the ground reality in Pakistan. I've said this many times before, but just going to reiterate, this is not easy and it's not a simple solution. But we have identified our goals and our destination, and we've already started the journey to make Pakistani streets safer for women. The only question is, will you be joining us on this journey?